What's going on, guys? Mission here. Welcome back to the video, and today I'm going to be looking at the best subclass setups for PvP for the Titan class. And there are a few changes that you can make in these subclasses, but overall I think that these are the best setups that you can have. So I'm going to start out with the Sunbreaker class, and let's go from left to right. So for grenades, obviously fusion grenades, but if you want, incendiaries are very, very close second, because these nades actually did get buffed a few months ago, I think, and they can almost one-hit you. And fusion nades, everyone knows how good those are. Obviously increased control for Titan skating. And for hammers, this is actually an interesting one. I personally use Sun Charge because you can throw regular hammers and use Sun Charge, but if you want, you could also use Forge Master, but I really don't think that it's worth it to get one more hammer when Sun Charge is obviously a lot better. For melee, I actually recently just switched this around. I used to be using Melting Point a lot, but that's mainly better for PvE against like some yellow boss, or not yellow boss, but just yellow enemy. I think that Melting Point's probably better for PvE, but for PvP, Stoke the Forge is probably the best because this melee is probably the best melee in the game. Either this or Storm Fist, and if you can just get this as much as you can, that would obviously be the best. And for armor and recovery, this also changed recently. I used to have it to where it would armor and recovery would be under tier 7 because of sweats, but since there are no sweat tournaments coming up, I've just quit playing them until Destiny 2. So this is what I used before that, and this is what a lot of people use. I would recommend Titan Codex 1 and 5. So, and for this awkward tree right here, I think Flameseeker is probably the best, but Fleet Fire is not really something that's actually going to work that much, because you're not going to be killing many people by your fire. I think that having Flameseeker to where your hammer will actually track them is probably the best, and yes, it actually does track them pretty good. So here we go for the last one. This is probably the best for PvE, but since this is a PvP video, Cauterize is obviously the best for this subclass. So that is the Sunbreaker subclass. If you guys want to take a quick look at it, copy it. There you go. Now let's move on to Striker. Still Titan Codex 1 and 5 for armor and recovery. And nades, lightning nades, they're just the dumbest grenades in the game. They defy physics. The spread of these grenades is literally insane. I don't know how they work, but it's dumb. Obviously, increased control for skating. And this one, any of these 3 perks are great, but I've been using Death from Above a lot, and I've actually gotten pretty good at it. You just need to know when to use it and when not to use it. If you're in a tight corridor and you try to jump up and slam, it's not going to work that well for you. But if you're in a little more of a wide open space, Death from Above is probably the best. Storm Fist, I use Overload because it gets it as fast as you can, and sometimes if you hit someone, it immediately resets it. So that's honestly awesome. And I would probably use Discharge as second, but Amplify is also a good choice. Right here, this one, I used to use Headstrong all the time, but then after I actually used Transfusion, this makes it a lot better because you get your health back instantly with a melee or a shoulder charge kill. And as I just said, I am using shoulder charge because Juggernaut does not work that great anymore, and Unstoppable is really only a perk you're going to use when you use your super. So that's why I use shoulder charge. Defender class, we have Spike Nades because these grenades are also very dumb, and they are like lightning nades and can do anything. But the Defender class probably has the best grenades in the entire game. Any of these, all 3 of these nades are equally powerful, and if you wanted to choose any of them, that would be a great choice. Increased control. I use Armor of Light for PvP because a lot of people just think that they can come in and kill you, but really, you can't. Armor of Light is really good for a lot of situations, as you will find out if you use it. War Machine. This is the one melee perk that I don't use, where it continually recharges. So I use this because it actives your weapons insanely fast. If you just have to try it out. Sorry for that noise in the background. We are having work done on our house. So this thing, I've been using this since day one. It's an awesome perk. These perks, none of these are that great, but I just recommend using Bastion because that's probably the best out of those three. And Titan Ghost 1 and 5, and Untouchable because it just reduces the cooldown time. But you could also use Illuminated if you're going to use Blessing or Weapons. So Armor, use Untouchable, Blessing or Weapons, use Illuminated. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. If you did enjoy the video,